Since 5 years ago, there was a COVID outbreak. The temple has limited how many people can come inside the temple. But now the outbreak is over. So you're all welcome inside the hall. But if you are not feeling well, please stay home. But if you practice, if you don't get a chance to come to temple, there is no problem with that. Luangpo met someone who never come to the temple and understood how to practice. And some of them even a better practitioner than those people who come to the temple often. Some of the people who come to the temple often, they come here to enjoy happiness and meet friends, but not particularly concentrate on the practice. To practice is to notice our mind. If you can notice your mind, then the practice will come easy to you. The way the mind works, there are two ways the mind works. To notice, there are two ways to notice. Is that the first one is that to see that the mind works on its own. It fabricates feeling happiness, anger on its own. Another way that most people tend to practice when they observe the mind is that they really watch the mind, that they are trying to fabricate the mind when they observe the mind. When the mind fabricates, they try to fabricate it. The mind fabricates by itself because it's the nature of the mind. Our duty is just to know so when the mind fabricates wholesomeness, know so when the mind fabricates unwholesomeness, like greed, anger, depression, is the mind's duty, is not our duty to fabricate. So just know so the mind naturally. If we can observe the mind naturally, you can see the fabrication that the mind works on its own. And between each fabrication, there is this gap that is free, empty, joyful on its own. So the mind that with fabrication is like a cloud in the sky. But if we are never free from fabrication, we will never see this gap of clearance. We will not see that the fabrication is something that is not the mind, that is tainted the mind. But if we have the natural mind, we observe the mind naturally, we will say the fabrication, the interference that comes into our mind. If you can observe the mind naturally, you can see this thing comes and go. But if you keep fabricating your mind, that it is always tainted with the fabrication, we will not be able to distinguish between different types of fabrication. We cannot distinguish between we try to fabricate the mind ourselves or the mind is fabricating itself on its own. Luangpu Dun said that we fabricate the mind because of our defilement. So is it the mind fabricating on its own, or the defilement is fabricating the mind? If you can observe the mind at its natural forms, is that the mind fabricates by itself. When we come into contact of something, the mind start to fabricate different feeling. For example, greed, anger. If we keep knowing that at its natural form, innocently, we can see how the mind works. But if we try to fabricate the mind is not natural. We cannot see how the mind works on its own, and we will not see the truth. An example, if we try to fabricate, a lot of practitioners try to fabricate the mind to be still. Many practitioners want the mind to be calm. Actually, wanting is greed. That we want the mind to be good, that we want the mind to be calm and peaceful. If you have that intention, you start to fabricate the mind to be still. When the mind is not good, you try to fabricate the mind to be good. When the mind is busy, you try to make the mind calm and still. Then the mind will lose its natural form. A good person wants to fabricate the mind because you want the mind to be good. Those people who do not practice will let the mind as it is. But the mind is lost because they are not aware of the mind. But a lot of practitioners, because they are good people, they want the mind to be good, so they fabricate the mind. They try to control the mind, or sometimes they try to control their body. An example is that we have been breathing since birth, since we are born. But as soon as we start to practice, we control our breath right away. Or before or a practitioner, we walk all the time. But now that when we practice the walking meditation, we stress ourselves and hurt ourselves while walking. Some of you, when you walk naturally, you may not walk straight, but when you start to practice the walking meditation, you think that you have to walk properly straight. So you try to control your body, and your body is stressed from trying to control. So a lot of practitioners wants to fabricate the body and the mind. So if you fabricate your body and mind, you will not see the truth. You might misunderstood that this body and this mind are always peaceful and under control. Some of the practitioners who are skillful in controlling their body and their mind, when they wanted their mind to be peaceful, they can control their mind to be still in a short time. Those are the type of samadhi practice. And you may thought that the mind is permanent, the mind is always happy. And you may misunderstand that the mind can sustain its happiness for a long time, and you thought that this happiness can last for a lifetime. But if you can enter a deep state of samadhi once, this happiness can last for about 7 days, and then it will go away. So if you want to control the mind to be still, like people who can enter the deep state of meditation, they can control the mind to be still whenever they want to. They can control the mind to be happy. So they misunderstood and thought that the mind is that it is permanent and it can be happy, and the happiness can last for a long time. And they may see that the mind is always happy. They don't see the three characteristics that comes with the mind. That is actually is impermanent, suffering, and non-self. So if you practice correctly, you will gain the right understanding, the right wisdom. But if you practice samadhi incorrectly, there is a tendency to misunderstood and see the wrong view. Luangpu made this mistake before, so he can bravely say that he made this mistake. That was the time that Luangpu mistakenly control his mind to be still. And as the defilement arised, and then he was watching the defilement, but the mind did not sustain the correct samadhi. So the mind, as it followed the defilement, when the defilement dissipates, the mind was brightened and happy. And it was like that for a year, the whole year. So as soon as Luangpu thought of practicing, the mind become like that. So he wasted the whole year. He thought that if he stay here, there's no defilement. And he thought that if he stay here, he would be enlightened. But after a year, he remembered that the teaching of the Buddha, the Buddha said that the mind is impermanent. Why was it permanent for Luangpu? Because Luangpu felt that his mind was permanent for a whole year, and the mind is always happy, joyful for the whole year. But the Lord Buddha didn't say that. The Lord Buddha said that the mind is not under our control. It is non-self. If Luangpu was not wise, he might think that if has reached Nibbana. But Luangpu was very observative, and he remembered the teaching of the Lord Buddha that all the five aggregates share these three characteristics, that they are impermanent, suffering, and non-self. But why was his mind permanent and always happy and under his control? So he thought that maybe he made a mistake somewhere as he practiced. Why was his mind under his control? He kept observing, and he realized that he might be stuck in samatha type of samadhi. There are many ways you can be stuck in samatha samadhi, and he couldn't tell. He knew that he made a mistake, but he didn't know. He did not know how he made that mistake. That was a mistake, but he didn't know which mistake he made. So he went to the master, Venerable Luangta Mahabua, and Luangta asked Luangta that what mistake did he make? Luangta Mahabua replied that when you told me that you will practice by observing the mind, now you are not at the mind anymore. And Luangta Mahabua asked Luangpu to use mantra, to stay with the mantra. After Luangpu heard this advice, he backed away about 2 meters away from Luangta Mahabua and sat there. And he started citing mantra, Buddho. Luangpu's mind, that's not like Buddho. But he realized that Luang Ta Mahavuor told him to recite Putto because he did not have enough samadhi. So Luang Pa started to practice samadhi, but not the different approach, but not to make the mind empty and happy. He started to practice samadhi the way he used to practice before by breathing in and he recite Put, breathing out and he recite To. And then the mind unite together and he realized that he did not have the correct samadhi. As soon as he had correct samadhi, the mind retained stability and he fixed his mistake. So if you practice samadhi and you make a mistake, you may gain the wrong view. So many of the practitioners, many of the hermits, they were practicing samadhi, but the wrong type of samadhi. So they sustain the wrong wisdom, the wrong understanding, because the mind did not retain the stability, was not upright and with stability. Some of the teachers who claim that he also learned from Luangpu Dun understood incorrectly and start to practice incorrectly. For example, when the defilement arises, just ignore it. Luangpu Dun said that's incorrect. Our duty is not to interfere with the mind. If you interfere with the mind, the samadhi that you gain is the wrong type of samadhi. The samadhi you may gain from the wrong type of samadhi is that the samadhi may be stable, but it's not right. You may not have the right wisdom. The right practice is to observe the mind as it is. The true samadhi does not come from the breathing meditation or the walking meditation. The true samadhi comes with sati and or the mindfulness. And this mindfulness arises from the four foundations of mindfulness. As that you are mindful of the mind, of the body. As soon as you know the body and the mind correctly, that you have the correct sati or the correct mindfulness, then the correct samadhi would arise. The way to practice this is to have the object of meditation, and when the mind, for the mind to stay with, when the mind wander off, or the mind is over-focused on the object, no so. Luangpu Dun said that to think, we never know from thinking, but to know so, it needs thinking. This is the phrase that most people forgot. That before we can stop thinking, we need to think, to see the mind work as it is. Like the mind wander off to think. And then after we know so that the mind wander off to think, the normal mind would arise. This is why we never, as we practice, we never stop ourselves from thinking. The mind can be happy, unhappy. It can be wholesome or unwholesome. We don't interfere with the mind. Just know so as it is. Another example is that if you take a breath, know so of the breath in and out. If your mind is busy, know so that the mind is busy. You don't have to try to make the mind calm. If you start the practice by trying to make the mind calm, the mind will never be calm because you are trying to do something with the mind, trying to make the mind be something. If you observe the mind working, as it is, the mind will become by itself. So we don't interfere with the mind. So as you practice, know so when the mind is busy, know so that you want to be peaceful. Just keep knowing so. If you don't interfere with the mind will be peaceful on its own. So don't fabricate the mind. Just know so of the mind as it is. Know so when the mind is unhappy. Know so when the mind is happy. Know so if the mind is wholesome. Know so if the mind is unwholesome. Know so as it is. With the know so of the natural mind. And then you will retain the correct samadhi. A lot of masters teach, usually say to know so when the mind wander off. Like Venerable Luangpu Tien would use the object of his meditation is moving the hand. So a lot of people would focus on the hand and try to focus the feeling on the hand. That is not correct. He used the hand movement to practice to practice mindfulness, to know so when the mind wander off from the hand's movement. So different master may use different approach. In short, just know so of the phenomenon of the state of the body and the mind as they are. If you know the present state without fabrication, without trying to fix it, knowing them as they are, then the correct state, correct samadhi would arise automatically. To train yourself so the correct sati would arise is to do so often and know so of the body and the mind as they are. Luang Por saw someone who tried to fabricate himself very much, try to control the mind. If you are trying to control your mind a lot, you can be easily angry. So Luang Por didn't dare to tell them that they are practicing incorrectly. If they don't ask Luang Por don't tell them because they could get angry. It's not his duty to tell them so. And Luang Por did not dare to tell them. So as you practice, have the object of meditation for the mind to stay with. Any object that you like. You can use the body. If you use the body, so know so of the body as it is. Know so that the body is breathing. Know so that this body is sitting, standing, walking, moving. Just keep knowing so. Know so as it is. You like to observe the elements. Know so of the different elements coming into our body. For example, the fire element inside our body, when the breath, the air coming in, the air would come into contact with the fire element, and as the cool air coming in, the warm air would go out from our body. So keep knowing so of the body, like the body breathing in and out. The mind can be busy or not busy or calm. That's the mind's thing. We don't have to fabricate it. Have sati, be mindful of the body breathing in and out. It's not we are breathing in and out. It's the body breathing in and out. The body is not us. The body never said that it is us. So be aware of this body breathing in and out. If you have sati, you have the correct sati, then the mind will be upright and with stability on its own. Or you can observe the mind. Know so when the happiness, the mind is happy. You don't have to welcome the happiness. Know so, but if you are welcoming the feeling, the phenomena, know so that you are welcoming, you are happy to see the phenomena. If when the mind is with stability, if you have the mind with stability will not consume the happiness. Just the mind that is just knowing so. If you have the mind that is with equanimity, the mind is stable, the mind will not consume the different feeling. It will keep observing the phenomenon that arising and falling. And every state fall under the three characteristics. Happiness teaches us three characteristics that it is impermanent, suffering, and non-self. Even mindfulness also fall under the three characteristics. You cannot order sati or mindfulness to arise. The mind that is with stability, you cannot make the mind stable. If you're trying to make the mind stable, the mind will be stiff and not natural, and you feel the weight in your heart, in your mind, because you're trying to make the mind stable. But if you are practicing without trying to make the mind be anything, then correct samadhi would arise on its own. The mind will be stable on its own. Like if your mind wander off, usually it's with delusions, because the mind is busy. This is called, in Pali called uttacca. You don't have to try to make it go away. Just know so that the mind is busy. If you really just know so, the busy mind will dissipate. As soon as sati arises, the defilement will dissipate. Mindfulness and the defilement cannot arise together. So as soon as mindfulness arises, the mind is stable on its own. The mind usually wandering off through different contact and exits. For example, the eye, ears, nose, tongue, or thoughts. So when you observe the mind as it is, you don't have to try to make the mind stable, because as soon as you try to make the mind stable, you fabricate the mind and you will feel tight. So know so, as soon as you feel the tightness, that you may be interfering with the mind. So keep practicing like this continuously, and then you will see how the mind fabricate happiness, unhappiness, or neutrality, or the mind fabricate wholesomeness, unwholesomeness. You don't have to interfere or try to stop the mind from fabricating. So keep observing it, and just we finished our work at just knowing. You don't have to fabricate what you see, what you observe. An example, if the mind fabricate happiness and you want this happiness to last, and you try to fabricate that is a natural thing. You don't have to interfere with the mind. Whatever arises in the mind, doesn't matter if it's wholesome or unwholesome, just know so. Don't try to fabricate it. If you fabricate the mind, you will not see Dhamma. You will not see the truth. People who try to interfere the mind, and but they succeed in fabricating the mind, controlling the mind, they thought that, oh, I am very good, I am skillful. That is the wrong view. If you don't fabricate the mind, you will see that all the minds are impermanent. It arises and falls. You will see that everything, the body and the mind, they all fall under the three characteristics. There are four types of states: the mind, the context, the body, and Nibbana. The last one is Nibbana. To be able to experience Nibbana, we have to let go of the first three first. In the first three, which one is the main boss? The main boss is the mind. If you can let go of the mind, everything else will crumble. The feeling that we may experience is that usually there are three types of feeling that would arise. Is that happiness, unhappiness, and neutrality. One of the other aggregate is the perception and interpretation. Is that when you see someone, you interpret what you see and give it a value, a name. Like you see this person and you thought, oh, that's that person that I know, and you remember his name. Another aggregate is the feeling. Sometimes we fabricate feeling happy or unhappy, feeling good or bad. The mind fall under the three characteristics. The mind keeps changing over time. The mind sometimes is wholesome, sometimes the mind is unwholesome, the mind sometimes is happy, sometimes the mind is unhappy, sometimes the mind is with equanimity, sometimes the mind is mindful, sometimes the mind is lost in thought, sometimes the mind is over-focused, sometimes the mind is lost to look at something, sometimes the mind is lost hearing, listening at something, sometimes the mind is lost tasting something. So our mind is usually lost toward different contexts through our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and thought. The first one that is easy to observe is the body. Even if you're non-Buddhist, a lot of people can see that this body is not us. But if you don't study in Buddhism, you cannot see that the mind is not us. But the body is very easy to see that it is not us. As you listen to Luangpu, you gain samadhi. You can feel energized. So right now, let's try knowing so of your body. No, so this body is breathing. It is not us. This body never said that it is us. But the mind is foolish to think that this body is us. So if your mind is stable and you use this mind to observe this body, you can tell that this body is not us. Even people who are not Buddhists, they can tell that this body is not us because everybody can see that the body changes, this body will die. And as we die, the body deteriorates. The fire element perish, the water element would leach out, and the air element would be evaporated. Non-Buddhists can also see this. But you only have to have the mind with stability. The mind that is upright with stability is the mind with correct samadhi. When you have correct samadhi, you will see that this is not us. One time, Luangpu went to take a class in management psychology from the office. And Luangpu was one of the youngest person who take this course, and he joined other government officers in this course. A lot of people who are in this course they are almost at retirement age. In this course, in this trip, Luangpu invited other attendees to meet the masters, and the temple was uphill on the mountain. As Luangpa reached the mountaintop, there was this temple was like it was in front of the cave. As Luangpa reached the top before other people, and he saw a shelter, and he wondered if Luangpa wanted to meet. Was it inside? And he couldn't see inside. And then Luangpa, there was a monk who walked past by, and Luangpa asked, "Is Luangpu here?" And the monk said, "Yes, he's inside that hut." After a while, Luangpu came out from the hut. And Luangpu spoke to Luangpa that that was Luangpu Tet Langsi, and Luangpu Tet said that I saw that you just got here, and I wanted you to rest first. And Luangpu invited Luangpa and other conference attendees to come inside and sat in the diamond postures. This diamond posture is very hurtful because you have to cross your leg both up, both on top of each other. Most people could not sustain this pose. There were only two left, only Luangpa and another person who could sustain this pose for a long time. There was another conference attendee who came with Luangpa. Her daughter studied in the United States, and she thought that, oh, this is a good Dhamma talk. I wish my daughter in the United States could hear this. But as she thought of that, Luangpu said, "Be aware now that you are here, but your mind is in the United States thinking of your daughter." So she was shocked that Luangpu knew what she was thinking about. And then Luangpu turned around to talk to Luangpa and the other guy who kept sitting in the cross leg, the diamond-shaped cross leg. And he asked, "How do you feel?" The other person said that, "Oh, my leg hurts so much." And Luangpu asked again, the leg said that they are hurt. And the person said, "Yes, they are really hurt." Luangpa smiled that actually the legs never say that they are hurting. The mind was the thing that complained, and that was the thing that complained that it is hurting. The leg never scream that they are hurting. It's the mind. So if we keep observing the body never complains, the body never say that it is hurting. The ache, and the body are two different things. If you understand this, if you go see a doctor or a dentist, every time you feel that, oh, that hurts, because you think that this body is us, and then even you feel that this body is hard, the pain is bigger. But if you see that this body is not us, the pain that comes into the body, it is not the body itself. You have the mind that is stable. The mind is not hurt, does not hurt either. If you really observe the body, the pain and the body are two different things. The pain is something that arises within the body, but it's not the body. If you can separate this, if you go see a doctor, you can also practice then. As you feel the pain, as the dentist work on your teeth, and then You can feel that your body is shaking, your mind is shaking. If you cannot, just know so. Because the pain was too much, then you can practice samatha. You can focus your mind at the toe. You know the toe, right? So move your mind, focus your mind at the toe, at your toe. So, and let the doctor work on your teeth. Then the pain will be lessened because the mind will not catch on the teeth and catch on the pain. So you let the mind stay at the toe. So you can practice with, as you see a dentist. When Luangpa was young, Luangpa had a university friends, and when the girls have a menstrual cramps, Luangpa taught his friend that the body and the cramps are two different things. Before she was able to separate the aggregates, she had to take a lot of pain meds, like but after she was able to separate the pain from the body, she did not need any more pain medicine to help her with the cramps. So you can use samatha and samadhi. There are many applications in everyday's life too. Like if you're working on a hard project, on a difficult project, and you feel anxiety, so don't think too much, let it be, and you can breathe in and out, and then the solution will sometimes arise. So Dhamma is practical. You can practice samatha. Samatha can be used in everyday's life and also in the Dhamma practice. And as you train yourself to separate the 5 aggregates, this separating the 5 aggregates is not cultivating wisdom yet, but it can be very beneficial, very useful to you in everyday's life. If you can separate that, the mind will be further away from the world, and you will be happier. And if you can practice vipassana, you can see that there's nothing in this world but suffering. And one day you can ascend above the world, and you can attain Nibbana if you can let go of the world. Nibbana is a state that we are free from fabricating, free from wanting. As we practice, we still have a lot of wanting. We want to be good. We want to attain Nibbana. As long as we still have wanting, we're never going to be able to attain Nibbana. As soon as the mind is free from wanting, free from fabrication, the mind will attain Nibbana. The mind can let go. The mind can let go of. We can let go of the mind. Once we can let go of the mind, we can experience Nibbana. So Nibbana does not come from sitting meditation. It is not come from keeping the moral precepts, but the keeping the moral precept, samadhi, and cultivate wisdom, they are the force that can lead us to attain Nibbana. When we no longer have the wanting, we let go of the wanting, we can attain Nibbana, we can experience Nibbana. But right now, our mind is filled with wanting, with intention, with fabrication. We create existence after existence. As soon as we have intention to do something, we create existence and the mind is stuck in that existence. As soon as we don't have any more wanting, that is, we finished with the work. Is today's Dhamma talk difficult? We're celebrating the new year by learning the Dhamma that is more advanced. A lot of people would come to the monk and ask for blessing, ask for this, ask for this. The more you try to ask, the more you are trying to, you're accumulating self. So the self will grow bigger and bigger. Our duty is to know so of this body and the mind. You can know so of the world outside our body. It also contains 3 characteristics. Now, homework reviewing time. Number 1, I keep the 5 moral precepts. I practice by knowing so of the breath. I think I start to see rising and falling more often. I see a lot of anger, and after I keep observing, then it will go away. One time, I sat and meditate, and suddenly I feel frightened, so I open my eyes to practice samadhi. Please tell me what to do next. There are so many things that you have told me. Luangpu does not remember everything that you have told me because there's so many things. Can you go over again? Since start from the beginning. First, I try to keep the 5 moral precepts. He said, good. Next, I do the chant and practice by knowing so of the body, and I know so when the mind is lost in thought, and I can see that my mind is busy a lot, and I see that the anger as it arises, it's arises so in my head. Luangpu said that not only anger, every time when the defilement is strong, it will take over your head. What is your mistake is that when you said that after you keep observing for a while, it will go away. That is your mistake right there, because deep down you want the defilement to go away. It's not that you are trying to know so of the defilement as it is, but you are sitting and try to observing and want the defilement to go away. That is next. I think I don't have enough samadhi. That's right. One time I sat and meditate and I got frightened, so I opened my eyes and sat and observed. Actually, it's a pity. What are you frightened of? Most people are frightened of death. Why are we frightened of death? Because we love ourselves. So next time, if you got frightened as you sit and meditate, contemplate what are you frightened of. Usually you're frightened of death. Don't run away. If you run away, run back to breath, then you will not cultivate wisdom. So next time when you see fright arise, keep observing it. Your question is very long. You can sleep at night. That's good. I can see the thoughts arising at night, and I can see the thoughts coming up until I'm so exhausted. What to do next? Don't think how to not think. Don't think how to sleep. Just observe it as it is. Number one, you ask many things. I don't remember everything you ask. Now, number two, I use the natural mind to observe the element coming in and out all day and night. And I see the 5 characteristics of the 3 characteristics of the 5 aggregates. I can see the defilement arising from the middle of my chest area. I can see whatever I'm doing, I can see the element coming in and out. Am I seeing this? Really seeing this? Yes, Luangpa replied that you were seeing it, but now the mind is still. It means that you are fabricating your mind. You're interfering with the mind. If you can let go of that, then the wisdom will arise. If you are trying to make the mind still, you may see things correctly, but the wisdom will not arise, and you will not have enough samadhi. Don't control the mind. You can still feel the tension. There is some, because you are doing something the mind and you're stuck in the existence. You don't see that is greed behind your action, that you want to be success in the practice. Know so of this, and then the mind will truly attain equanimity. Number two, can you see that you are creating the existence of practitioner, the practitioner persona? The correct one is to let it be natural. When we are cultivating wisdom, let the mind be natural. But as you practice samatha, you can stay with the stillness. Number two now is better now. See that the mind is joyful as it is. Let the mind be. Let the mind fabricate naturally without fabricating yourself. Right now you are fabricating, you started to interfere the mind to be still again, to be good again. Don't fabricate the mind. Number three. At the present, I think I'm stuck. I am not over-focusing too much. As I practice, I use Bhutto mantra, reciting Bhutto, and I can see the mind that is lost from Bhutto. I don't see the rising and falling yet. Can I separate the aggregates and cultivate wisdom now? Yes, now you can separate the aggregations. Can you tell that the mind and the body are two different things? You don't have to think. You can feel it. Just feel it, that this thing is moving. Feel it with the natural mind. If the mind is natural, the mind can see the truth. What you are doing is correct. Just keep practicing. Number four. In formal practice, I keep the 5 moral precepts and I sit and meditate. Throughout the day, I observe the mind as it is. I make offering without wanting to gain anything back. I contemplate on death often. I read a lot of Dhamma books. I think every time I sit, my mind is not still, and sometimes I am stuck in the light. Please tell me what to do next. The mind is swaying. It is the mind's thing, not our thing. Just know so that the mind like to stay with the light.
บางทีก็ว่างไปเฉย
Sometimes the mind is empty on its own. That's okay. Sometimes as you observe the mind, sometimes the mind want to rest, so it stays still on its own. But if every time you sit and the mind is still every time, that means you're stuck in samatha. So you should back away and observe the body moving. You should observe the body often. And you have a lot of dullness that arise as soon as you sit. You feel drowsy. You will not tell me this. But so know so more of your body. Don't cultivate wisdom continuously. Use the body as the object of meditation for you to practice. And then your mind will gain more energy and you can truly cultivate wisdom. Number 5, you are doing well. I still have intention every time I want to practice formally throughout the day. I think I am more lost than knowing so of my body and my mind. I think I understand more, but I don't have, my mind is not with stability too much. Please tell me what to do next. You are practice correctly. Don't try to make the mind stable. What you are doing is good. You have progress more and more. Can you tell that you have changed a lot from before? Number 6 have disappeared. Number 7. I listen to your Dhamma talk, Luangpu's Dhamma talk, for the mind to rest. I observe my mind and I know so after my mind is lost in thought, lost in hearing, lost in feeling. And I can tell that the knower mind arises on its own. We don't own knowing.
เห็นความหมดไปสิ้นไปแห่งรู้นั้นขอคำชี้แนะค่ะ
Please tell me what to do next. You have to you practice correctly. You just have to practice more. But right now your mind is not stable. Can you tell? The mind has wandering off a little. Take a breath. Just know so of this body breathing. Let's try that. Can you tell that your mind right now and your mind before are different? Before your mind is out just a little bit. If your mind is not with the object of meditation, you may think that the mind is good. But if the mind is truly stable, the mind is with stability, it will know and understand on its own. But the mind that wandering off is the mind usually wandering off to think. For the beginner, it is good, but you will not have the true wisdom. The true wisdom comes with the correct samadhi. Don't try to pull the mind back in. Just know so that the mind is out. Keep knowing your breath, knowing so of your body breathing. If you try to pull the mind back in, you feel tight. Number 6. I use breathing meditation as the object of my meditation. Throughout the day, I try to observe my mind. If I cannot observe my mind, I will observe my body. I think I am stuck over-focusing. Please tell me what to do next. Don't worry about practice making mistakes. Just keep knowing so, and then the mind will be right. Right now, you are fabricating the mind to be still, but the dullness is with the mind. The mind that is with dullness is different from the mind that is calm. When you make the mind dull, you will feel drowsy, feel lost. You should arouse yourself to be awakened. Don't make the mind drowsy. Be awake, move your body, keep moving your body, and then the mind will be awakened and truly energized. Right now, you are dressing the mind to be dull. That would be a waste of time. Number 8. I sit and meditate and know so of my body and my mind for 1 hour and a half every day. And usually it is calm, it is light. And throughout the day, I try to know my mind and my body moving. I don't think I have a lot of energy. The mind is not very energized. I am bored of this world. I don't have a lot of equanimity. Please tell me what to do next. Your mind is stuck in stillness. So you should observe your body more. You can observe your body, you can observe from section to section. For example, observing your hair, your skin, your nail first. Observe as you walk. Observe that, contemplate that this body is not us, it's like a robot walking. And then your mind will be fresh and more energized. Otherwise, your mind will get stuck in stillness. You have to stimulate it so it will cultivate wisdom. That is all the Dhamma talk for today. Who hasn't got a medal? Just know so that you don't have the medal. Know so that you want it. You don't have to try to find the amulet. If you try to buy it, then Luangpo heard that somebody tried to sell it for 5,000 baht. The people will make the fake ones and sell it at the same price. When Venerable Luangpu Wan was still around, there were fake medals that would come out every day. The people who make copies are very fast. So if there are real medal, there are fake ones too. Or sometimes they have the real one mixed with the fake ones. They put the fake one on top of the real ones. And they said that Luangpu make these amulets. If you want to hear Luangpo's Dhamma, you can listen online. And you want to hear the teaching. There's a teaching that is posted everywhere in the Dhamma Media Foundation. That is all the talk for today.